from our Worcester Post, who's our post commander, and Chief Adam Horry with the Town and Country Fire District. Today, what we're going to do is discuss the events, the unfortunate events that occurred yesterday. Sergeant Roberts, or Lieutenant Roberts, will give a description of the crash, what occurred, and where that investigation stands. And Chief will give comment on his fallen firefighter. I will then conclude by taking questions at the end. There will be no additional media availability after this event. Chief will not be taking questions after this either. Just for understanding that this is an ongoing investigation, and there is a lot of things that need to be processed and attended. Some of that we can go over, some of that we can't. We'll answer what questions we can. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Roberts.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, approximately 3:14 p.m., we received a call of a motor vehicle crash on Interstate 71, just south of State Route 301 near milepost 195. That was in Wayne County. That initial call was a one vehicle that lost control and traveled off the right side of the roadway. Our term for some scene security for safety of the people that were still on scene. And at 3:59, a southbound commercial vehicle traveled into the rear end of the fire engine that was blocking the roadway, traveled off the right side of the roadway, struck our patrol car, the initial vehicle involved, and flipped over onto the driver's side on the berm of the roadway. The trooper at that time was out doing some paperwork, and the firefighter that was on scene was also completing some of their reports. The semi struck both the trooper and the firefighter as he traveled off the roadway. The trooper radioed to us to let us know that he had been struck, and additional personnel were called to the scene. Different fire departments from the area, New Pittsburgh Fire Department, Ashland City Fire Department, all responded to the scene as a result of those injuries. Once we were able to determine the trooper was okay, unable to locate the firefighter on the scene, it was determined that he had been struck by that semi and required some extrication. Local firefighters that were on scene did a tremendous job of trying to render aid to Lieutenant Weigel, who was the firefighter that was killed. Unfortunately, those attempts were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced deceased at the scene. The investigation is still ongoing. The driver of the commercial truck has been cooperative. He's given us statements, and those are still things that we're looking at to determine the actual cause of what made this happen yesterday afternoon. Those charges, that investigation will be completed. That involves our crash reconstruction unit, our commercial investigations unit for our commercial standards, and our local post troopers that are completing that. Once that is completed, that packet will be turned over to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for charges at that time, and they'll be able to review those for us. So currently, we're still working on all the ins and outs, but that's where we stand at right now. Todd. Yes, sir.
My name is Chief Adam Horry. I'll make a brief statement regarding the loss of Lieutenant Bill Weigel. Lieutenant Weigel was a 16-year member of our department. Bill was a very devoted family man to his wife, Lindsay, and two daughters, Gracie and Gwen. He came from a very tight-knit family that included his father, Mike, mother, Kathy, brother, Matt, his wife, Dana, and their 4 children, Ella, Elise, Embry, and Easton. Phil was strong in his faith, and it seemed to grow stronger every day. This is a huge loss for our fire department, the community, and most importantly, his family. I'd like to thank everybody that has provided support to our department. It is too many to name at this time. It's just been constant support coming in from the community and local fire departments, as well as fire departments across the state and the nation. I ask this time that we be mindful of his family and give them space and time to grieve.
Okay, with that, I'll take questions.
Sergeant, we see often in cases where police officers or troopers are killed in the line of duty that there's a procession and that type of thing. Do you know if there's something in the works for the lieutenant in these cases of fire?
family works through making arrangements. Those are things that are being discussed and how that will look. When we have those updates, they'll be made public, obviously, so that not just the law enforcement and the first responder family can pay their respects, but the community that he's a part of. So once we have some of those things nailed down, we'll assist the Town and Country Fire. Well, a lot of that is being looked into. I don't believe that the conditions were too adverse at the time. The roadway was slightly wet. Unfortunately, it's a reminder that these situations are changing, no matter what the circumstances are, and that every day there are folks that are putting their lives on the line to service the public, everyone else, and that folks do the same, mindful while we're out there doing our jobs. That their part is to stay alert and aware and look into the circumstances surrounding this event. Lieutenant Weigel 100% did his job. The position of that fire truck was there to keep that scene safe and those roadway workers and first responders as safe as they can be. Had he not put that piece of equipment where it was at, we may be speaking of a totally different circumstance with a lot more fatalities. So scene safety is something that we all train together with, that our safety service partners take serious and train on their own. And this is just an unfortunate reminder that this vehicle, this piece of equipment was there for a reason. It served its purpose, and unfortunately we still lost the public service. All of that's going to be reviewed. This process is going to take some time. Just out of respect to the family, to this community, to this department, it's an expectation that, from the public, but also from myself, that we do a thorough job in this investigation, and everything will be turned over and reviewed to the prosecutor, and the appropriate charges will eventually be filed.
Our viewers and neighbors are asking how they can pay respects. What would you recommend?
Right now, prayers for the family, and for his department, and for the community. But once we're able to get additional information as to how the servant will be laid to rest, then we'll assist the fire department in getting that information out and letting the public know how they can do so.
Is there a GoFundMe page, or is there a way to? A lot of people want to know if there's a way they can donate to wives and children. The way to.
Once we have additional information, I'm sure that the family and the department may work to facilitate some of that. Once some of that stuff is in place, then we'll assist them in getting that out. Right now, we're just really focused on performing a thorough investigation and supporting this community, this department, and Lieutenant's family through this difficult time.
You may not know this, but is this the only fire department that you ever worked for?
I do not know, to be perfectly honest.
I'll answer that yes. 16.
We also understand this is a small, tight-knit community and fire department with a large amount of volunteers, part-time firefighters, in addition to a small handful of full-time. Do you have any numbers as to the breakdown of how many people there are working in this department and forming this community?
I personally do not have that information.
There's 27 members, 3 full-time. Phil was one of the full-time members.
Thank you all. Any updates on the case, the crash investigation, or any additional information that the fire department would like us to get out will be done so via an updated media release. You can also follow our Northeast Ohio Regional Twitter account, as well as other social media platforms. I thank you for your time and for your respect to the family and to this